The sky above New York City was usually filled with airplanes and birds, but today it was quiet. The air stood still. Not a single cloud moved in the blue sky. On the ground, thousands of people looked up. They pointed their cameras and phones toward the sky. A large silver shape had appeared between the tall buildings. It looked like a giant teardrop made of metal. It floated down slowly, making no sound at all. It was an alien ship. The ship did not land on the street. It stopped in the air right above the United Nations Plaza. A blue light shone from the bottom of the ship. It held the ship there like a magnet. The world was watching. Every television channel and every internet stream was showing the same image. The aliens had finally arrived. A ramp lowered from the bottom of the silver ship. It did not touch the ground. It just floated there. 3 figures walked down. They were very tall and very thin. They had pale skin that looked like gray plastic. Their heads were long and narrow, with large black eyes. They wore tight suits that shone like oil on water. They did not look friendly. They looked like they owned the place. The United Nations had prepared for this. A small team of diplomats stood waiting on a red carpet. They looked small compared to the aliens. Among the humans were Mark and Lisa. Mark was a tall man with glasses and brown hair. He wore a simple black suit. He was the main speaker for the United Nations. Lisa stood next to him. She had blonde hair and a serious face. She held a digital tablet in her hand. Behind them were Tom and Jessica. Tom was a security advisor, big and strong. Jessica was a scientist, looking at her scanners with worried eyes. The alien leader reached the end of the ramp. He did not bow. He did not smile. He stepped onto the red carpet. His 2 guards stood behind him with their arms crossed. The alien leader wore a long robe. He looked at the humans like a man looks at bugs. Mark stepped forward. He tried to look confident. "Welcome to Earth," Mark said. His voice was loud and clear. "I am Mark. I speak for the people of Earth. We welcome you in peace." A small device on the alien's chest flashed with light. A moment later, a cold, metallic voice came from the device. It spoke English, but the tone was flat and mean. "I am Ambassador Zyler of the Krylorian hegemony. I do not come for peace. I come for order." Lisa looked up from her tablet. She typed something quickly. Tom took a step forward, putting his hand near his gun, but Mark stopped him with a small wave of his hand. Zyler continued. "We have watched your planet for a long time. You fight wars. You destroy your own home. You are dangerous children. The hegemony cannot allow a dangerous species to live in this part of the galaxy. We are here to fix you." Mark narrowed his eyes. "Fix us? We are a sovereign people. We have our own governments. We did not ask for your help." Zyler let out a sound. It was like a high-pitched laugh. "You do not ask the fire to stop burning. You just put it out. We are the fire. We are the strongest power in this sector. We have conquered 100 worlds. You will be number 101. Jessica looked at her scanner. She whispered to Tom. "Their ship has huge weapons. Our missiles can't even lock onto them. Their shield is too strong." Tom's face became hard. He knew they were in trouble. Zyler took a step closer to Mark. He was much taller than the human. "Listen to me, human. This is not a debate. This is a statement. As of right now, your planet belongs to the Krylorian hegemony." Mark stood his ground. He did not step back. "You cannot just take over Earth. There are billions of us. We will fight." "Fight?" Zyler tilted his head. "With what? Your sticks? Your tiny nuclear bombs? You're like ants biting at a boot. It is annoying, but it does not stop the boot from stepping down." Lisa stepped up next to Mark. "If you try to take us by force, it will be a long war. We will not go quietly." Zyler turned his black eyes to Lisa. "War? No, you misunderstand. There will be no war because you have no chance to win. A war requires 2 sides. You are just a resource. We do not fight resources. We harvest them." Zyler raised his hand. A hologram appeared in the air between them. It showed a map of Earth, then red dots appeared all over the map. These are the terms of your surrender, Xyler said. Number 1, you will destroy all your weapons. Every gun, every tank, every ship. Number 2, you will give us 50% of your natural resources. Metals, water, food. Number 3, you will accept Krylorian governors to rule your lands. You will keep your culture only if it does not break our laws. If you resist, we will destroy your major cities one by one. We will start with this one. Tom's hand shook. He wanted to pull his gun and shoot the alien right there, but he knew the guards would kill him before he moved. He looked at the sky, hoping for a miracle, but the silver ship just sat there, silent, and heavy dot mark looked at the hologram. He looked at the red dots covering his home. He took a deep breath. He had to buy time. The military needed time to prepare. The world needed time to understand what was happening. These terms are extreme, Mark said slowly. I cannot accept them right now. I need to speak to the leaders of every nation. I need time. Xyler lowered his hand. The hologram disappeared. You humans always need time. You are slow. You are weak. Very well. I will give you time. But not much. How much time? Lisa asked. 1 hour, Xyler said. You have 60 of your Earth minutes. Go and talk to your little leaders. Cry if you want to. Beg if you must. But in 1 hour, I want the answer yes. If the answer is no, or if you are not back, we will open fire. 1 hour? Mark said, that is not enough time to contact everyone. The world is big. You have telephones. You have the internet. Use them, Xyler said. He turned his back on the humans. Do not waste my time, human. The hegemony does not like to wait. Mark looked at Lisa. Lisa nodded. She was already making calls on her tablet. Mark looked at Tom. Go, Mark whispered. Tell the general to prepare everything, just in case. Tom ran back to the UN building. Jessica followed him. Mark turned back to Xyler. We will return in 1 hour. Xyler did not look back. See that you do. Mark and Lisa walked away quickly. They could feel the alien eyes watching them. They walked into the UN building. The doors closed, blocking out the bright daylight and the scary silver ship. Inside it was chaos. People were running. Phones were ringing. The main hall was filled with screens showing different cities. London, Tokyo, Moscow, Beijing, every city was watching the ship. Mark and Lisa went to the main control room. Generals and presidents were on the big screens. They were all shouting, what do they want? A president asked from a screen. They want us to surrender, Mark said into the microphone. They want our resources and our freedom. They gave us 1 hour to decide. Can we fight? A general asked. Can our missiles hit them? Jessica looked at her data. No, sir. Their shields are too advanced. If we shoot, they will destroy us. The technology gap it's huge. Like a caveman fighting a tank. The room went silent. It was a hopeless situation. The people in the room looked scared. For the first time in human history, everyone felt small. They were not the masters of the earth anymore. They were prey. Mark sat down in a chair. He took off his glasses and rubbed his eyes. We have to stall them, he said. We need more time. We have 50 minutes left, Lisa said. She looked at the clock on the wall. The seconds were ticking away loudly. Outside, the sky was still blue. The silver ship hovered like a predator waiting for a meal. Xyler stood on the ramp, looking at the city. He smiled. It was a terrible, thin smile. He thought it was going to be an easy day. He thought the humans would bow down and beg for mercy. He did not know what was waiting in the dark. He did not know that humans were dangerous when they had nothing left to lose. Mark put his glasses back on. He stood up. Okay, he said to the room. Let's talk to them. The doors of the United Nations building closed with a heavy thud. Inside, the noise was overwhelming. Phones rang loudly. People shouted across the room. Screens on the walls showed faces of leaders from every country. They looked scared and angry. Mark walked quickly to the main table. Lisa followed him, typing fast on her tablet. Tom stood by the door, his arms crossed, looking like a stone wall. Jessica was at a computer, looking at waves and numbers on the screen. "Report," Mark said. His voice was tired but strong. "The alien ship is still hovering," Jessica said without looking up. "It is not moving, but its energy levels are very high. They are ready to fire. Can we stop them?" A general asked from a large screen on the wall. Jessica shook her head. "No, their shield is too strong. Our nuclear missiles would just burn up in the atmosphere before hitting them. We tried to hack their communication, but their code is like nothing we have ever seen. It is alien." Mark looked at the big clock on the wall. They had used 10 minutes of their hour. They had 50 minutes left. If they said no, the aliens would destroy the city. If they said yes, they would become slaves. "We have to think," Mark said. "There must be a way." "There is no way," the general on the screen said. "They have the power of a star. We have the power of a candle. If we fight, we die?" Lisa looked up from her tablet. "Mark, look at this. The internet is going crazy. People are scared, but they are not panicking in the streets. They are waiting. Waiting for what?" Tom asked. "Waiting to die?" "No," Lisa said. "Waiting for a plan. Look at the news feeds. The soldiers are not running away. The police are helping people. Everyone is calm. It is strong." Mark nodded. "Humans are strange. We do not give up easily." Suddenly, a red light flashed on Jessica's screen. She frowned. She pressed a few buttons. Then she stopped. She looked at Mark. Her eyes were wide. "Mark, I am picking up a signal," Jessica said. "From the aliens?" Mark asked. "No," Jessica said. "It is coming from the dark side of the moon. It is faint, very faint. But it is getting stronger." "Is it another alien ship?" Tom asked, stepping forward. "Are they calling friends?" Jessica typed faster. "I don't think so. The signal pattern, it is not random. It is coded. But I recognize the code style. It uses old Earth algorithms from the 21st century. Mark walked over to her. "Are you saying it is from us? From a human ship?" "It is huge, Mark," Jessica said. "The object creating this signal is massive. It is bigger than the alien ship. Much bigger." Mark felt a spark of hope in his chest. He looked at the clock. 30 minutes left. "Can we talk to it?" "I am trying," Jessica said. She put on a headset. "This is Earth Control. Please identify." For a moment, there was only static. Then a voice came through the speakers. It was deep and rough. It sounded like a man who had been shouting in a storm. "This is Captain David of the UES Ares," the voice said. "Do you require assistance?" The room went silent. Everyone stopped talking. The general on the screen stopped shouting. Mark stared at the speaker. "Did he say Ares?" Mark whispered. "Yes," Jessica said. She was smiling now. "The Titan Project." The Titan Project was a secret. Years ago, the countries of the world had decided to build a ship. They wanted to explore deep space. But the project was too expensive. It was too hard. Most people thought it was canceled. They thought the money ran out. They were wrong. "Captain David," Mark said into the microphone. "This is Mark. We are in a difficult situation. We have an alien ship above New York. They want us to surrender." There was a pause on the line. Then Captain David laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the laugh of a wolf who found a sheep. "Surrender?" David said. "To them?" "Do not worry, Mark. We are on our way." "How long?" Mark asked. "We will be there in 15 minutes, David said. "Hold the fort." The line went dead. Mark looked at the room. "Did everyone hear that?" he asked. People nodded. They looked at each other. The fear in the room started to change. It turned into something else. It turned into excitement. "General," Mark said to the screen. Tell your men to stand down, but stay ready. Do not fire. We have backup coming. Outside, the sky was still bright. Xyler stood on the ramp of his ship. He tapped his foot. He looked at his watch. He was getting bored. He looked at the doors of the UN building. He wondered if the humans were crying inside. He wondered if they were begging for their lives. Commander, Xyler spoke into his communicator. Status report. The atmosphere is clear, the commander's voice said from the ship above. No hostile movements. Their primitive armies are hiding. They are afraid. Good, Xyler said. They are smart enough to fear us. Xyler looked at the city. New York was a forest of tall glass and steel. He sneered. It is a dirty place. Once we are in charge, we will tear it down. We will build proper structures. We will clean this world. His guards stood still behind him. They did not move. They were perfect soldiers. They had done this 100 times. Land, demand, and conquer. It was always easy. It was always boring. Inside the UN building, Mark fixed his tie. He looked at Tom. Ready? Tom nodded. Ready? Mark looked at Lisa. You have the speech? Lisa nodded. She held her tablet tight. I have it. Let's go, Mark said. They walked out of the control room. They walked down the hall. Their footsteps echoed on the floor. They were not walking to a surrender. They were walking to a show. They opened the big doors and walked outside. The sunlight hit their faces. The air was cool. Xyler was still standing on the ramp. He looked at them. He smiled that thin, cruel smile. Back so soon? Xyler asked. Have you decided to bow down? Mark walked up the red carpet. He stopped closer to the alien this time. He did not look scared. He looked calm. Very calm, Ambassador Xyler, Mark said. Have you accepted my terms? Xyler asked. Do you give us your planet? Mark looked at his watch. We have considered your offer. We have talked to many people. And we have a counterproposal. Xyler laughed out loud. The sound was sharp and ugly. A counterproposal? You? You have nothing to propose. You have no power. You have no choice. We have a choice, Mark said. And we choose to say no? The smile on Xyler's face disappeared. His black eyes narrowed. No? No, Mark said clearly. We do not surrender. We do not give you our resources. We do not accept your rules. Xyler took a step forward. He looked down at Mark. Do you know what you are saying? I will destroy this city. I will kill you all right now. You can try, Mark said. He looked up at the sky. He looked right at the blue space above the silver ship. Xyler looked confused. He looked at the sky too. Why are you looking up? Your fate is here, is it? Mark asked. Suddenly the air pressure changed. It felt like the gravity got heavier. The wind started to blow. It was not a normal wind. It was a hot, powerful wind. The trees in the park bent over. The flags on the buildings snapped loudly. Xyler looked around. What is this? Commander, report. The gravity... It is fluctuating, the commander's voice said over the open channel. Something is coming out of hyperspace. It is massive. The blue sky started to turn dark. It was not nighttime. The sky was turning purple. Black clouds swirled in a circle high above the city. The sunlight was blocked out. Thunder rolled, but it sounded like a giant metal door slamming shut. Xyler looked up. For the first time, he felt a small feeling of fear. What is happening? He whispered. Mark smiled. He pointed a finger at the purple sky. This is our counterproposal. The purple swirl in the sky grew wider. It looked like a giant bruise on the face of the day. The wind below howled like a wounded animal. People held onto lampposts and cars to keep from being blown away. The noise was deafening, a low rumble that shook the bones of everyone in the city. Xyler stood frozen on his ramp. He looked up at the darkening sky. His advanced eyes tried to scan the energy signature. This is impossible, he muttered. The gravity reading is off the charts. It is too dense to be a ship. Mark stood his ground. He had to shout to be heard over the wind. Humans are full of surprises, Ambassador. Lisa, Tom, and Jessica stood behind Mark. They watched the sky with wide eyes. Even Jessica, who had seen the data, was shocked by the sheer size of the disturbance. Suddenly the purple clouds tore apart. A massive shape pushed through into the atmosphere. It was not the sleek, silver beauty of the Krylorian ship. It was black. It was jagged. It looked like a mountain of iron and steel shaped into a weapon. It was the UES Ares. The ship was so big it blocked out the sun completely. The city plunged into a sudden, strange twilight. As the ship descended, the air pressure pushed down hard. Car alarms started blaring. Windows in nearby skyscrapers rattled. The sheer weight of the object made the ground tremble. The Krylorian guards, who had stood so still and proud a moment ago, stumbled. Their knees hit the red carpet with a thud. They could not stand up under the pressure field the human ship was generating. Xyler stared. His mouth opened slightly. That is a primitive design, he stammered, trying to sound confident. It is ugly, it is inefficient. Look at the thick armor plating. It is clumsy. Tom laughed out loud. He had to hold his stomach. Clumsy? That thing is about to crush you. The UES Ares hovered directly above the United Nations Plaza. It was like a ceiling of black metal. Huge, thick gun barrels stuck out from the sides of the ship. They were the size of office buildings. The metal of the ship looked dark and scarred, like it had seen battles that could destroy worlds. A red light turned on under the human ship. It aimed a laser beam straight down at the silver Krylorian ship, but it did not fire. It just locked on. The hum of the human engines was a deep, bass sound that vibrated in everyone's chest. Xyler tapped his communication device frantically. Commander, fire. Destroy this ugly thing. We cannot, Ambassador, the commander's voice came back over the speaker. This time the voice was shaking. Our sensors cannot get a target lock. The human ship is using some kind of stealth jamming. It is like it is not really there, but it is. And our weapons? Our weapons are powered down. Powered down? Xyler screamed. Power them up. We are trying. The commander shouted. But there is an electromagnetic pulse coming from the human ship. It is frying our circuits. We are dead in the water, Ambassador. We are sitting ducks. Xyler looked down at his own weapon belt. He pulled his small sidearm. He aimed it at Mark. I will do it myself, he yelled. Before he could pull the trigger, Tom moved. He was fast. He tackled Xyler. The alien was tall, but he was not strong. Tom knocked the weapon out of Xyler's hand. The alien fell to the ground. Gasping for air, the two Krylorian guards tried to help their master, but they were too weak from the gravity pressure. They could barely lift their arms. Jessica ran over and picked up the alien weapon. She looked at it, then threw it into a nearby bush. Bad move, Tom said, standing over Xyler. Mark stepped forward. He smoothed his jacket and looked up at the bottom of the UES Ares. He knew Captain David was watching. Suddenly, a loud voice boomed from the human ship. It was so loud that the trees shook. It spoke in English, but the sound waves vibrated through the ground, so even the aliens could feel it. Alien vessel, the voice said. It was Captain David. This is the United Earthship Ares. You have entered a restricted zone. You have threatened the citizens of Earth. Stand down immediately and prepare for boarding, or you will be removed as a threat. Xyler pushed himself up from the ground. He looked crazy. You cannot do this, he yelled at the sky. We are the Krylorian hegemony. We have 10,000 ships. We control this sector. You are nothing but dirt farmers. The voice from the ship did not shout back. It stayed calm, which made it scarier. We are not farmers, David said. We are the shield. And we are the sword. You have 1 minute to power down your engines and drop your shields, or we will fire. Xyler looked at the small pistol on the ground. He looked at the massive black ship above him. For the first time in his long life, he did not know what to do. He was used to people being afraid of him. He was not used to being the small one. Lisa stood next to Mark. She checked her tablet. "Mark, the Krylorian ship in orbit is trying to run away," she said. "They are turning around? They are abandoning their diplomat?" Jessica asked. "Looks like it," Tom said, grinning. "Some friends they have." Mark looked down at Zyler. "It seems you are alone, Ambassador." Zyler's face twisted in anger and shame. "No, they will come back. They will bring the fleet. You cannot defeat the hegemony." "Maybe," Mark said. "But today you are the one here. And today you are the one who is losing." The black ship above them shifted slightly. The massive guns rotated. They made a grinding sound of metal on metal. It was the sound of pure power. The red targeting light on the Krylorian ship grew brighter and hotter. 40 seconds, Captain David's voice counted down. Zyler looked at his guards. Then he looked at the humans. Mark, Lisa, Tom, and Jessica were all looking at him. They were not afraid anymore. They were looking at him like he was a nuisance. Like a fly that needed to be swatted. "Wait!" Zyler shouted. "I surrender, stop!" He fell to his knees on the red carpet. He raised his long, thin hands in the air. "Do not fire. We surrender." "Shields down," David's voice said from above. "Weapons disabled." "Good choice." The red light turned off. The pressure in the air let up a little bit. The Use Ares stayed where it was, a dark shadow over the city, watching everything. Mark let out a long breath. He had not realized he was holding it. His hands were sweating, but he kept them at his sides. He looked like a professional. "Tom," Mark said, "please escort our guests inside. We have a lot to talk about." Tom grabbed Zyler by the arm and pulled him up. "Come on, tall guy. Let's go." Lisa and Jessica followed them. The crowd of people on the streets began to cheer. It started as a whisper, then grew into a roar. They cheered for Mark, but mostly they cheered for the giant black ship that had saved them. As they walked back toward the UN building, Mark looked over his shoulder. The Use Ares hung in the sky, silent and deadly. It was a beast. It was a monster. And it was on their side. He smiled a small, tired smile. The world had changed forever. The humans were no longer the children of the galaxy. They had just grown up. Tom pushed Zyler through the doors of the United Nations building. The two alien guards stumbled in after him, looking weak and confused. The humans did not treat them roughly, but they were firm. They marched the aliens down the hallway. Back toward the secure room where the world leaders were waiting, Mark and Lisa walked behind them. Mark felt a heavy weight lift off his shoulders. The sky was still dark with the shadow of the UES Ares, but the immediate danger was over. The alien ship in orbit had run away. The Diplomat was in their hands. Inside the secure room, the mood was different. The fear was gone. It was replaced by shock and curiosity. The big screens on the wall were still on. They showed the live feed from outside. The massive black warship dominated the view. It looked like a storm cloud that would never leave. Mark walked to the front of the room. He stood in front of the camera so the world could see him. He stood next to Zyler, who looked small and pathetic now. "People of Earth," Mark said. His voice was steady. "A short time ago, we faced a threat. We were told to surrender. We were told we were weak, but we did not surrender. We stood together." He paused for a moment. "We were not alone. We had protectors watching from the dark. The UES Ares, a Titan-Class Warship built by the united efforts of humanity, has arrived. The alien vessel has retreated. Their diplomat is in custody." The room erupted in noise. People were cheering. The leaders on the screens clapped. But Mark held up his hand for silence. "We are not safe yet," Mark continued. "But today we prove something. We proved that humanity is not to be underestimated." Tom led Zyler to a chair and pushed him into it. Zyler sat silently, his head down. His arrogance had disappeared completely. He looked like a broken toy. Mark turned to look at the alien. "Now we talk." Outside, the wind had died down. The used Ares hovered silently, its engines humming a low note that vibrated in the teeth of everyone on the street. The guns were still pointed down, a silent reminder of what would happen if anyone tried anything stupid. Up in the ship, Captain David stood on the bridge. It was a dark room lit by blue screens. He wore a simple uniform, dark gray with gold stripes on the shoulder. He was an older man with gray hair and a face like a rock. He had seen many things in space, but this was the first time he had come home. "Status report," David said. His voice was calm. "Krylorian mothership has left the system, Captain," a young officer at a console said. "They are running fast?" "Let them go," David said. "Chasing them is a waste of fuel. We are here to protect the planet, not start a war in deep space, yet." "The alien ship on the ground is powered down, sir," another officer said. "Their weapons are offline." "Our EMP field worked perfectly." David nodded. "Good, keep the fields up." "I don't trust them." "Keep the main guns charged." "Target the silver ship constantly." "Yes, sir." David walked to the large window at the front of the bridge. He looked down at New York City. It looked so small from up here. Little cars driving on little streets. Little people walking on the sidewalks. He remembered growing up in a small town. He remembered looking up at the stars and wondering what was out there. Now he was the thing the stars would fear. "Open a channel to the UN building," David said. "I want to speak to Mark." The officer tapped a few buttons. "Channel open, sir." Mark's voice came through the speakers. "Captain David? Can you hear me?" "Loud and clear, Mark," David said. "Is everything under control down there?" "It is," Mark said. "We have Zyler. He is not talking much, but he is listening." "Don't let him talk too much," David said. "Just keep him safe. We need to know what they know. But don't let him think he has any power." "Understood," Mark said. "Captain." "Thank you." The world was scared. "We were scared too, Mark," David said. "But we did our job." That ship is the result of 20 years of hard work from every nation on Earth. We built it to be the strongest thing in the sky. Today we proved it was worth it. "The people want to see you," Mark said. "Or at least they want to know you are there." David smiled a little. "Tell them to look up. I'm not coming down. My place is up here watching the door. If any more aliens come to visit, they will have to go through me first." "Understood," Mark said. "Good hunting, Captain. Good luck, Mark. Out." David cut the connection. He looked at his crew. They were all working hard, but they were smiling. They knew they had done something historic. They had saved the world. "Sir," the weapons officer said, "I am detecting a signal from the silver ship. It is an automated distress beacon. It is sending a message back to their home space." "Let it send," David said. "Let them know that Earth is not a soft target. Let them know that we have teeth." Back in the UN building, Mark sat down across from Zyler. Lisa stood next to him. Jessica and Tom were by the door. Zyler looked up. His black eyes were full of hate, but also fear. "You think you have won?" Zyler hissed. "We know we have won," Mark said. "Your ship ran away. Your guards are helpless. You are our prisoner. The hegemony will not forget this," Zyler said. "They will send a fleet. A real fleet. Thousands of ships. Not just one diplomat vessel?" Mark leaned forward. "Let them come. We have the Ares now. And who knows? Maybe we have more than one." Zyler flinched. He hadn't thought of that. He looked at Mark, trying to see if he was lying. But Mark's face was blank. "You are bluffing," Zyler said. "Maybe," Mark said. "Maybe not. Do you want to take that chance?" Lisa put her tablet on the table. "We have scanned your ship, Zyler. We know about your technology. Your shields, your engines. Now that the Ares is here, we can learn how to beat you. We are very good at learning." Zyler looked at the tablet. He realized that everything he knew was wrong. These humans were not primitive. They were hiding their strength. They were like a snake in the grass, waiting to strike. "What happens to me?" Xyler asked. You will stay here, Mark said. You will answer our questions. Then maybe we will talk about a trade. We have your ship. You have information. We will see what is fair. Xyler slumped back in his chair. He had traveled across the stars to conquer a planet of monkeys. Instead, he had walked into a trap. The monkeys had a big stick, and they knew how to use it. Mark stood up. Take him to a secure room, he told Tom. Make sure he is comfortable, but don't let him out of your sight. Tom nodded and pulled Xyler up. Come on, E.T., let's go for a walk. As Xyler was led away, Mark looked at Lisa. Is it really over? Lisa asked. Mark looked out the window. He could see the shadow of the UES Ares blocking the sun. For today, it is over. But tomorrow is a new day. And we are not the same species we were yesterday. The city below began to light up as night fell. But the lights were not just electric bulbs. They were beacons of a new era. Humanity had been tested, and humanity had passed. The age of being afraid of the dark was over. Now, the things in the dark were going to be afraid of humanity. The city was quiet now, but it was a different kind of quiet. It was not the silence of fear. It was the silence of respect. Night had fallen over New York, but the darkness did not feel heavy anymore. Above the city, the UES Ares hung in the sky like a black moon. Its running lights blinked a soft red, casting a glow over the skyscrapers. People stood on the streets and on their rooftops, just looking up. They felt safe. Inside the United Nations building, the work was not finished. Mark sat in a large conference room. He was tired, but his mind was sharp. He sat at a long wooden table with Lisa, Tom, and Jessica. They were alone for a moment. The alien Xyler was locked in a secure room down the hall. It feels surreal, Jessica said, looking at her hands. This morning we thought we were alone in the universe. Tonight we found out we are not alone, and we also found out we are the strongest ones here. Tom rubbed his big hands together. Did you see the look on Xyler's face when the Ares came out of the sky? I thought his eyes were going to pop out of his head. Lisa smiled, but it was a serious smile. We won the battle, but the war is just starting. The Krylorian hegemony is huge. They have hundreds of planets. They won't be happy that their diplomat is a prisoner. Let them come, Mark said. He leaned back in his chair. Today changed the rules. They thought we were sheep. Now they know we are wolves. That is what matters. The door opened and an aide walked in. Sir, the aide said to Mark, Captain David is on the secure line again. He says it is important. Mark nodded. Put him on the screen. The large television screen on the wall flickered to life. Captain David's face appeared. He looked tired, but he had a strong look in his eyes. Behind him, the bridge of the Titan ship was busy. Crew members were running back and forth, carrying data pads. Mark, David said, we have finished our scan of the Krylorian ship on the ground. What did you find? Mark asked. A lot, David said. Their technology is advanced in some ways, but not in others. Their engines are fast, but their shields are weak against heavy impact. They rely on speed and looking scary. They are not built for a slugfest. They are built for hit and run. That is good to know, Mark said. Yes, David said. But we also found their star maps. We know where their home territory is. We know where their other colonies are. And we know how many ships they have. Is it bad? Lisa asked. It is big, David said. But they are spread out. They control a lot of space, but they don't have many ships guarding each planet. They are overconfident. They thought nobody could challenge them. That is their weakness. Mark stood up and walked closer to the screen. So what is the plan, Captain? David looked at his crew, then back at the camera. The plan is simple. We stay here. We guard Earth, we use the technology from their ship to upgrade our defenses, and we send a message. What kind of message? Tom asked. A message to the rest of the galaxy, David said. We are going to broadcast the recording of today's event. We are going to show the Krylorian ship running away. We are going to show the Ares standing over Earth. We will send it to every frequency we can find. We want everyone to know that Earth is protected. If you come here to hurt us, you will lose. Mark liked that idea. We are not hiding anymore. No, David said. We are done hiding. Humanity is going to take its place in the stars, but on our own terms. There was a beep on the console in front of David. He looked down. I have to go, Mark. My crew is spotting some debris from the Krylorian escape. We need to clean it up before it falls into the atmosphere. Thank you, David, Mark said. For everything. Just doing my job, Mark. Keep our planet safe down there. We will watch the sky. The screen went black. Mark turned back to his friends. He is right. We have a lot of work to do. The next few weeks were busy. The silver Krylorian ship was carefully taken apart. Scientists from all over the world came to study it. They learned how the alien engines worked. They learned about the alien metals. It was a treasure trove of knowledge. Zyler stayed in his cell. He was treated well, given food and water, but he was not allowed to leave. He spent his days looking out a small window at the giant black ship that floated above the city. He knew that his life had changed. He was no longer a powerful ambassador. He was a hostage. But he also learned something about humans. They were not cruel. They were just stubborn. They did not quit. Mark spoke to the world many times. He told the people that the danger had passed, but that the world needed to be ready. He told them about the Titan project. He explained that humanity had been building defenses in secret for years, just in case. The reaction of the people was not panic. It was pride. Countries stopped fighting each other as much. They realized that the real enemies were out there, in the dark. If they wanted to survive, they had to work together. The flags of every nation still flew, but now there was a new flag too. A flag for Earth, a blue circle with a shield in the middle. One evening, Mark stood on the roof of the UN building. The air was cool. Lisa stood next to him. They watched the UES Ares as it prepared to leave orbit. It had done its job. It was going back to the dark side of the moon to hide and watch. Do you think they will come back? Lisa asked. The Krylorians? Mark put his hands in his pockets. Maybe, or maybe they will send someone else. There are a lot of stars, Lisa, a lot of aliens. Some might be nice. Some might be worse than the Krylorians. Are you scared? She asked. Mark looked at the giant ship. A small spark of light shot out from the back of it as it accelerated toward the moon. It looked like a shooting star in reverse. No, Mark said. I'm not scared. We used to look up at the stars and wonder if we were alone. We used to be afraid that something would come and eat us. Today, we found out that we are the monsters. We are the ones with the big ship. We are the ones who can't be pushed around. Lisa smiled. She linked her arm through his. Humanity, F*******, yeah, she whispered. Mark laughed. Something like that. The Ares disappeared into the darkness, becoming invisible again. But everyone knew it was there. It was a silent guardian. A sleeping dragon. The story of Earth spread. Across the galaxy on different planets and different space stations, people watched the video transmission. They saw the silver ship land. They saw the arrogant alien demand surrender. Then they saw the sky tier open. They saw the black Titan warship arrive on 1,000 worlds. Species that were afraid of the Krylorian hegemony began to whisper. They began to hope. They saw that the humans, a young race from a small blue planet, had stood up to the bullies. And they had won. The age of humanity had begun. It started with a threat, and it ended with a roar. The diplomats had come to conquer, but they left with a warning. Do not wake the sleeping giant. Because when the giant wakes up, it wears armor and it carries a very big gun. Mark and Lisa watched the stars twinkle. The city lights of New York buzzed below them. Life went on. People went to work, fell in love, and raised their children. But everything was different now. They were not just citizens of a country anymore. They were citizens of the galaxy. And they were the ones everyone else had to watch out for. I need a coffee, Mark said, breaking the silence. Lisa laughed. Me too, let's go inside. They walked away from the edge of the roof. The door closed behind them. Above them, the stars kept shining, but they shone a little bit brighter that night, because humanity was watching them back.